So in this, we're going to compare the Challenger versus the Mustang. And by no means am I going to be knocking the Mustang. I very much like the Mustang. But I'm going to explain why the Challenger is a superior car over the Mustang. Now, both are performance-minded coupes and are very popular in the car community. So there are 4 reasons why the Challenger is better in my opinion. And if I was presented both, I would take the Challenger over the Mustang. The number 1 reason is the Challenger is more rare. Every year, the Mustang tops over 100,000 in sales. So there's a Mustang everywhere, and that is one of the reasons why I myself have never been a Mustang owner. In the area where I live, they're a dime a dozen. They're almost as common as a Civic. Whereas in the Challenger, it has about 50 to 60,000 in sales per year. So you're talking almost half of the amount of sales as a Mustang, and the Challenger has not been out as long. So the Mustang has continued its production non-stop for X amount of years. So the market is just flooded with Mustangs. The number 2 reason is the amount of room. Now, if anybody's ever been in a Mustang, it is very, very tight. And for anybody that has pretty much more than one friend, you're not going to be a very popular person when it comes to driving. So the Challenger can fit 4 legitimate people in the car. So that is definitely a big reason why the Challenger is so popular, is just the amount of room that's inside the car. And when you're driving 3 or 4 people around, everybody's comfortable, and not just the driver. So also the next reason would be the retro design. Now, the Mustang did go back to its retro roots, but the Challenger, when it came out, just was unbelievable. I mean, it is the closest thing you can get to almost a late 60s, 70s car. It nails it in regards to retro look, and it has kept its retro look. Whereas in the Mustang GT has kind of morphed back into this modern, it almost looks like European look to it. Now, I'm not saying anything bad about it, but I myself like the retro look of the cars, you know. And the Mustang has certainly moved away from its retro roots. The last thing that I would like to talk about is the options for both of the cars. Now, the Mustang has I believe it is 4 or 5 trim levels. You could get a turbo 4-cylinder, a V6, which is actually going away. There's 2 trim levels for the GT and a GT 350. Whereas if you look at the Challenger, they have like 10 to 12 different levels for the Challenger. So it's, in my opinion, a little bit nicer, because not every Challenger that you see on the road is going to be virtually identical. You know, you have some with shaker hoods, some are TAs, 392s. I mean, you can rattle off all kinds of combinations. Some of them have decals, some of them don't. So your Challenger, when you get it, is going to be, number one, a little bit more unique, and it's going to be a little bit more rare. And I myself am a person that When I have a car, I don't really want to see a ton of them on the road every time that I drive. So this is just my personal preference as to why I like the Challenger. Now, when it comes to performance, we can all argue to the chickens come home, or